Hey everyone, I'm Mike Settele, and in this lesson, I'm going to go over the basic stuff that you need to know to pace yourself properly through the SAT reading and writing sections for the digital SAT. This is also going to work for the digital PSAT. So this is a universal strategy. It is also what I do. It's going to work for every module, every skill level of student. Everyone should be following these steps. Let's get started. Step 1, very simple. In every reading module, skip to number 15 right away as soon as the section begins. Step 2, find the first grammar question. It's basically going to involve this phrase, standard English conventions. That's the College Board's name for the grammar questions. It's usually number 15, but it could really be anywhere from number 14 to 17. So skip around until you find it. That's the first question you're going to actually answer. Step 3, answer everything from that question all the way till the end, which is question number 27. You're going to work your way through the grammar questions, the transitions, and the outlines. The College Board calls those outlines the rhetorical synthesis questions. Generally speaking, these are among the easiest questions you're going to see on the SAT, and even when they're hard, they're at least quick. They're ones that you can answer relatively quickly, and since they're generally easier, we want to make sure we're getting these done first because we don't want to run out of time with any of these questions left. As you go through, you also need to make sure you're answering everything. Do not leave any blank. For every one of these, you should be at least able to eliminate 1 or 2 answer choices, so you're going to have a pretty good shot. So do not skip anything. Answer everything. If you're not sure of your answer, you can bookmark it so that hopefully you can come back later and look at it again. But honestly, you probably won't have time, especially in the hard module. But a lot of good scores are built on these questions. Just to kind of put it in perspective, if you're looking for a good score on the SAT, these questions should take you about 13 minutes, maybe a little less. And if you get even just 75% of them right, you can still do pretty well. Even in the hard module, that's going to get you a pretty good score. If you're looking for a top score though, 700 or better, you really need to be getting through these questions in 10 minutes or less, and you have to be perfectly accurate, 100% right. Even in the hard module, you really cannot afford to get any questions wrong. And since these are some of the most predictable, this is where a top score is made. Step 4. Go back to question 1. We skipped it, now we're going to do it. So question 1 is going to be a vocabulary question. So step 5 is to answer every single one of these vocabulary questions. Again, do not leave them blank. You're probably going to be able to eliminate some answer choices. So at a certain point, if you don't know the vocabulary words, trust your instincts and take an educated guess. Bookmark it if you want to hopefully come back. You probably won't have time, but it's okay. You want to make sure you are not skipping any of these. Use your instincts and move on. Now, step 6, this is very important. Target the easiest passages. At this point, those are the only questions we have left, are the passage questions. So you have to think about it with this kind of a sense of you are trying to just maximize the points. The questions here are not in order of difficulty, so it's going to vary quite a lot. You need to look at a question for 5 seconds and determine in those 5 seconds whether you're going to commit to answering it or skip it temporarily. Hopefully you can come back, but you're trying to find the order that's going to get you the most points. So in 5 seconds, you need to determine whether that question is worth your time or not. Generally speaking, I find that questions with longer answer choices tend to be harder, but that's not a perfect system, so do not hold me to that. But once you commit to a question, once you decide for those 5 seconds you're going to answer it, you gotta answer it. You can't give up halfway through and realize you don't understand the passage. You have to work your way to the end, spend the time on it. If you can only get down to 2 answer choices and you have to randomly guess, that's fine, do that. But you cannot leave something blank once you've decided to work on it, because then all you're gonna do is half work through a bunch of questions and waste a lot of time. This strategy even applies to top scorers. I don't care if you've been getting 800 on every single one of your practice tests. If you are not skipping around the passages to find the easiest targets, you are setting yourself up for a lot of disappointment. And something can easily go wrong if you get stuck in one hard passage and you still got a bunch more to go. So everyone needs to be doing this. I do this as well. Then step 7, pretty straightforward. When you've got 1 minute left, go back to all the questions you skipped and just pick a letter and put that for all of those questions. Just use the same letter for every single thing. It doesn't really matter, but it's just easier that way. And if you are taking a practice test, make sure you write down your bookmarks and record that these were random guesses so you can go back to them later, even if you happen to guess right, and review those questions. This is the overall strategy. Here's a summary of the steps if you want to screenshot it. But again, this is what I do when I take the test. So I'm not telling you any lies here. This is what I do. This is what I found gets you the most points. Hopefully it helps you. Comment if you have any questions. If this did help, please like and subscribe to the channel. I've got hundreds of other lessons on everything you need to know about the SAT. Once again, I am Mike Settele. And remember, when it comes to your scores, don't settle for less. Settele for more.